Hey guys, this is John with CheatSheetPros.com. Today on Monday, February 22nd, I'm going to have a little bit different bet tab on the NBA cheat sheet. I spent about 5 hours yesterday building an OnOff database from Basketball Reference, basically grabbing, it ended up being about 1,700 different players across all 30 NBA teams. So the bet tab is the only thing that's going to change. I was not going to release it till Friday, but I'm going to go ahead and post it today. I will be out of the chat most of the day. We are extremely busy at my real job, and I'm probably going to be working a 15-hour day today, so I will get the sheet updated and posted, but I probably won't be very beneficial in the chat. So let's go ahead and take a look. Some of the new things we added, I wanted to clean up the bet tab. We had a lot of extra data down here, and some of this stuff was kind of moved out, so I cleaned it up a little bit. And some of the things I added was, here, this is using the last 3 games, and it looks just like the Sportacular or ESPN scoreboard. What I wanted to do was compare it to season rankings, so you can see over here on the outside, I just pulled the season rank for field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, just so you can compare them side by side on how they're doing for the season versus the last 3 games. So that's the first thing. The other thing is everyone has really liked this range of outcomes model. So it's basically taking the lowest efficiency and slowest pace for a bottom, and then taking the highest efficiency and highest pace for a top, giving us a range. So sometimes the ranges are pretty wide, and I noticed on some sheets that people post there's a percentage. So up here I just calculated a percentage of under and over. So it's basically just taking the range, and if the Vegas total's in the middle, this should fall at 50% each side. Otherwise, you can kind of see roughly where the totals are falling. So that's kind of fun when you flip through these different games. You see these percentages change. So something fun to look at and track. And then our main average of outcomes model here, I moved it in the middle because this is where we're always looking to see the differences versus the Vegas spread. So this is the same, just moved it in the middle. Added this, added the season deals on the side. I took the home road point deals and brought it up here. And then I also, if you don't want to look at the numbers, I just converted these to actual points. And I have a little indicator here that just says scores more, scores less, and this is where they are at currently. So the bottom team is always the home team. The top team is the road team. So where they're at now is what it's calculating. So if you're doing a total and all these say scores more, then that's good for the total. If it says scores less, just look at it, see what the difference is. If it's 0.8 points, I don't really care about that. But like here, Oklahoma at home, you can see they score 6.1 more points per 100 possessions, so that's pretty huge. And then again, we've got the offensive efficiencies, the last 3, points per game, scored and allowed. And then one of the things I did here, I love looking at the combined points per game over the last 3 and allowed combined total and bringing them in. Well, one of the things it's hard to, when you're looking at all this information, to look here and then look at this total and keep going back and forth and figuring out, So I have a little indicator box over here, and it pops up red if this is over. So if the team's combined points per game over the last 3 is over the Vegas total, it pops up and says over. If it's under, it'll say under. So over is good if you're betting an over. And let me find another game here. So here's one. You can see here's an under. And then we got the same. This is just used for our extreme model calculation. Don't worry about it. And the new thing that I'm excited to add, well, first let me get into this. So a lot of people want to know how the numbers work. So here I've got the offensive efficiencies, the different ways we calculate them without getting too technical. This is roughly the average we're looking at. And then the projected pace per game. These are the different paces. The roto pace is the main one that we use. And then when we get in teams with like the Lakers that play a solid defense, I'm going to have this factor in either a low pace, or if there's a super fast team like Washington, then we can look at an upper pace. So this is going to come here in the future. I haven't filled in all the boxes yet, so I apologize if it's not as pretty. And the fun part is I've added this little section down here. So this is the main one that's going to be used. This is your OnOff database. So this is what we're testing right now. Now the reason this is key is, let's say the other night, Curry was ruled out. So come in here and put his name in, and it's going to show you how the offense changes with him off the court. I would not worry about the opponent numbers yet. I've got him in there just to kind of track them and watch them. But offensively, these are what we're going to look at. We're going to see how the pace changes, which you can see without Curry, they play at 105 and it drops to 96. So it drops 8.2 possessions per 100. That's a much slower pace, as we saw when Curry was magically ruled out like 8 minutes into the game. The offensive rating is, I believe these are the amount of points it scores per 100 possessions. And it could be points per game. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, it drops from 113 to 105, so about 8. So that's a significant number if he's ruled off the floor. Now, it doesn't matter what teams up here you have. If you type the on-off, it's going to show you just the on-off, so don't worry about changing the team to match the player. And then this is something I'm playing with. It's not fine-tuned yet, but if we have a game where 3 or 4 people are ruled out and you see just a shit lineup come in, you could plug in the whole lineup, and it's going to give you their average pace and the average offensive rating for them. I don't really know what to do with that yet, but I thought it was kind of fun to put in there. So you can go in here, and then you could type in different players and see what their on-court numbers are over here. And you notice this is on-court. So if a player is on the court, this is going to show you what they do. This is going to show you on and off. So you can type one player in here and see their on numbers and their off-court numbers. And we'll go into more detail with this in the future. Now, the other thing you see here, this is a little confusing, so I want to explain it a little bit before we get into some more advanced videos later on this week. So down here, these calculations, if this player is on the road or home team, that's all it means, road top, home bottom. I didn't want to add a bunch of calculations to bring in this player's team and then go up here and match it and then pull this down. So I just did 2 lines to make it easier. So if this guy plays for the road team or this guy plays for the home team, that's the line you're going to pay attention to. And so this is going to change the offensive efficiency, the possessions, and give you a new projection total. So for example, if let's say this was Golden State, we have Steph Curry here, and it's going to change. Let's say he's on Dallas, for example. So they're at a 1.17 offensive efficiency. Well, he's going to drop this by about 8, so it's going to take him down to 1.08. And then it's going to take the possessions that's already projected at slow 99.4 down 8. And we don't take this full number. I take about 70%. 60 to 70%, I can't remember, down to 94.4. So then it's going to give him a new team total of 102 versus up here 115. So the easiest way to do this, if you don't want to do the calculation, say, hey, we're projecting this home team for 115. This guy's a stud. He's out 8 points, or here it is. This is worth 8 points. Take off 8 points here. So 115 minus 8 is roughly 107. If you want to get more advanced calculating, it's going to take it down even more. But just something to look at. And the teams do have to line up with this player if you're looking at this number. And then this is just a quick, these numbers here, I just put them in here for people to easily see. This is the point difference with the player out and the pace change with the player out. And you can type in different names. You're going to want to use the name that they are listed at on Basketball Reference minus any tildes, or how they're listed on RotoWire will also work. And I think that is the majority of everything. So again, to recap, we've got the seasons on the side. We have the percentages up here. We have the score more, score less indicators. We have the on-court lineup tool that you can see pace and offensive rating. And then the biggest one, this on-off tool for an individual player. And then we brought in the efficiencies and projections and put them here right in the middle. So I'm going to get this up. Good luck, guys. I'll talk to you later this week.